Sean Cooney at Botanica. He's the founder, managing director of this company, which is it's a herbal cream product line and wash for horses used by Olympic teams. Sean's going to tell you all about this. Sean Cooney. Big round of applause, please. Would you like me to turn your slides, please? I'll do it, you just tell me about it. You just talk now.
Hi everybody, my name is Sean Cooney. I'm the owner, founder of Botanica International Limited. Botanica is all natural. We have no chemicals, no lanolins, no parabens, no artificial preservatives. Our ingredients themselves can work as a preservative. With Botanica, like most things, like people, everything starts big, big, big. I always say to people, J. Arthur Guinness was a butler, and the bishop didn't like his brew, and he fired him. And then he went and brewed the stuff, and that's how it became the biggest brewery in the world. So the moral of the story is, had the bishop liked it, he would have been a butler. Botanica started, I worked with the chemists and the scientists and that, and I worked with some top people in the industry, and I worked with the man who invented Germaline. And it was 20 odd years ago. I was saying my mother used to use the cream off the milk for rashes or something, we were kids, and he said there's far more healing properties in the cream of the milk than there is in Germaline. And in fact, he's advised the best place for Germaline, it wasn't to throw it in the bin, it was to fuck it in the bin. So we can go on from there. Anyway, Botanica started because of somebody with athlete's foot. And it was a husband and wife were both chemists, and this guy had it in his head, you two are chemists, it's your job to fix my feet. And he was a pain, and said to me one day, what will we do with him? And I said, off the cuff remark, without thinking, let's go back to nature. And they took me up on it, and I thought, oh my God, why didn't I keep my mouth shut? Anyway, I put a concoction together, and it worked. Now, having said that, I'm a farmer's son, I studied ag science. And what I discovered then when I studied ag science, that with all the mass production and all the science and everything, the further we went from nature, the higher the mortality rate. So we came to a very simple conclusion. This nature business cannot be beaten. You know, to me, there's the God made and the man made. Anyway, I went on and developed a product. I had it at a show in the early 90s. And trust me, I know what it's like to be treated like a witch doctor. You mentioned tea tree oil. The most popular question was how much you'd have to drink. And I thought, holy shit, you know, forget it. Just ahead of our time here. So it's back to the kitchen table with a food mixer. But then I had doctors, I had veterinarians. And actually, I lived in London when I developed Botanica. And Prince Charles, he was my bright light, because in the 80s, his popularity was way down. And some people were actually embarrassed to say he was their prince, this silly guy with his stupid plants, when they wanted good, strong chemicals. And what I admired about him was he spoke with passion what he passionately believed in at the expense of his popularity. A lesser man's pride and ego would have kept his mouth shut and everybody loves me. I often say brains and balls, you know, find me a politician with that combination, you know, and you'll have found something. But so I always knew I had a good product. I put it on my children when they were little, and it grew, and we got really, really good results. And it was the good results is what kept me going, because it wasn't the money, because I never took outside investment. I did everything myself, and it wasn't easy at times. But I get calls, often the first ones in the morning, mothers with babies when they're teething, nappy rash. One mother is saying to me, her child couldn't get 2 hours sleep. Now the exact same cream went on that baby's bum. They're using in zoos in San Diego Zoo, Albuquerque, Dublin, Japan, all over the world, Singapore, and so it's the exact same product. My biggest export then was to China, and I headed off to China, and it was a trade mission. And I only applied for it because, out of respect for the guy who suggested it. I applied for it, and then, oh my God, they accepted me. But then the first question I asked, will I get to see the Great Wall and the Forbidden City? And they said yes. Well, I've always wanted to do that. Now people are thinking I've really lost it. I'm off to China with herbs. Where in fact, I was really going to see the Great Wall and the Forbidden City. And it was half price. I had a British embassy and consul making appointments for me, and a British minister leading it. To me, you'd be mad not to go. Anyway, I went to China and I took some product. Everybody I met wanted a product. And the last meeting on the last day, my gut feeling, I thought, I'll go with these people. And as we speak, on Sunday, I have 3.6 tons arriving in Shanghai with a retail value in China of up to 3 million euros. Now, they put it into 30 ml tubes and they charge 125 Chinese yuan. It's extremely high markup. What we sell here in the Southern Ireland for 35 euro will cost you about 260 or 70 euros, the equivalent in China. As for healing and wound and anything with the skin, I literally say this with total confidence. I take on anybody, anywhere, with my eyes and ears closed. Absolute confidence, for the simple reason I've got results where all, and I emphasize all others have failed. But I also emphasize, had I not got results where all others had failed, I wouldn't be in business. We've been used in the last 3 Olympics. All my products are FEI legal, no prohibited substance. I put all my products through the LCH laboratories in Paris, and so it's doping free. My guinea pig for cracked heels was Arco. He was #1 horse in the world, and Mark, Nick's groom, Nick Skelton, who rode him, within a week he called me and he said, the first time I'm happy with this horse. The Skeletons, they use my products a lot. Dan, the trainer, he'll get my wash, 25-litre drums, cream, 5-litre buckets. No cracked heels with the race horses, no bandaging, going out on the gallops, no ringworm. It's prevention, prevention, prevention. And going back to prevention, the Chinese cannot get their head around us in the West. They cannot comprehend paying doctors to get sick. And the sicker we are, the more money the drug barons make. The Chinaman would have us all locked up. They can't. That to them is off the scale. To them it's about prevention. You know, prevention, prevention, prevention. And yeah, we had some good ones then. As we go on here, I've got some case studies with the healing. No white hair and little or no scarring. This is a cracked heel with Nick Skelton's Arco. Mud rash. Those are basically before and after 1 week. Not come back in 3 months and try something different. I also have veterinary testimonials and all to back up all my stuff. Sweet itch, summer eczema. I don't believe there's a product out there the village idiot would give a testimonial for. I have 5 veterinary testimonials for my sweet itch. And you treat them, if it's mane and tail, 2 weeks in the spring, 1 week in July. No rugs, no covers, no nothing. Now if it's all over the body, then I take a step back. It can be sweet itch, allergies, God knows what else. I have a veterinary testimonial from a lady in south of France. She had a chronic case. I met her in Paris, and she goes on to say, as a vet, I must admit there's no other product available in the pharmaceutical, and certainly not in France. So for a sweet itch treatment, it was quite good. So we can just, again, the healing, we go back one, the horse there, no disfiguration in the hair, the color, literally no scarring. And this here was a chronic case of rain scald. I think they took the copper off, they didn't realize it had been leaking. And that was 5 days and 18 days. But by the way, hippie scrub and Sudocrem and all that was on that for a long time. Actually, hippie scrub, it scares me. What it does to your hands, it often makes things worse, especially it's like that. This is one of my favorites, Biba. a week-old foal. This was on Facebook every 48 hours. That's 15, 30, and 35 days. What was so special about that little lad, he'd come to you with that hole in his rear end looking for his treatment. My products are very user-friendly. The same product is used to wash that horse. Midwives will use it in the maternity ward when a woman gives birth naturally and to have a cesarean, the cream goes on. Now, if that was anything else, he'd be over the ditch, you'd never catch him. And the old days too, no gain without pain. I don't agree with that. In fact, I say pain is for perverts. If it's painful, stop doing it. You're doing it the wrong way. And here's 10 days healing again. Now, this is coming to our American visitors here. An Irish horse, 2006, put his foot through the wall. They were going to shoot him. Now, the vet or the owner, they had never met me or never used the product, but they'd heard about it. But if you're going to shoot him, the 5 magic words kick in here. You have nothing to lose. Contacted me, and that's there after maybe a month or so. Then you have another picture of him winning in Belfast. BC Madden, she spots him, thought this guy has got potential, and that's him winning the American Gold Cup. And if you look down on the leg, there's no marks, no scarring, or no nothing there. If you look close, you would see something, but like that, and that is circled here. Whereas then the next one, this was another chronic case, Chris Max. Again, no marks, no scars. Just veterinary testimonials. Yeah, go on again, more veterinary. Carla Russell, she said it's like having Jesus in a tub. San Diego Zoo. Sue Smith, Harvey's wife. I always say no one fucks with Sue Smith. If Sue Smith says it's good, it's good. She won the Grand National a few years ago. And I have a photo with Harvey, and I challenge anybody, 20 million to get Harvey Smith, you won't get him. Jerry from Dublin Zoo. Jerry is really big, and he has helped me so much around the world as well. This is our certificate from LCH Laboratories in Paris. No doping, negative. So it's good on that. So that's basically why, again, me saying something is one thing. So I would say to people, if people don't put it in writing, don't take it serious. So we put that in writing. We've won tons of awards. It's popular for us. They're coming in all the time, and I thought, holy shit, sometimes we get the plaque, and sometimes, we've got so many in the last couple of years, but we're winning them continuously. And having said that, I should be, June the 1st, I'll be 5 years supplying the British Royal Family, and they are my biggest supporters. They're Zara and myself. She'll be over here now in a couple of weeks. I often thought we made a nice couple until Tyndall came along and fucked everything up there. There's William Fox Pitt, a real gentleman. He's ex-world's #1. Harvey, there's Harvey. I challenge anybody to say millions to get Harvey, you won't get him. He's the only man in the world in the dictionary for swearing. Look up on YouTube, the fuck off, that's Harvey. And here is Scott Brash, world's #1 gold medalist MBE. And Ollie, he was world champion. He was world #1 until a week or so ago. Now Nick and Laura, they're to meet the golden couple, gold medalist Beijing, London, Rio. And what I only found out in the Salon de Cheval in Paris, Big Star, I said his Arco was #1 in the world when we fixed his cracked heels. Big Star had a lot of skin issues, and I reckon only for Botanica he wouldn't have made the Olympics. So the Skeletons are big people to me, and Dan, he just gets tons of my stuff for the racehorses. Beth Sheffield, Para-Olympian, Canadian, residing in England. And Natasha, I have a video of her horse as well, and I was at a show in England. Yeah, this is a horse, Diva, after being washed in the Botanica wash. Can we click on that to make it move? Yeah. And she came to my stand and love your products. Been using them for years. I've one horse is so sensitive I can only use Botanica and all that. And then the one I get all the time. And will you sponsor me? So I politely asked her, what level are you at? And she politely informed me I have 5 gold medals. I thought, holy shit, I've never asked anyone since what level they're at. But actually, she's a lovely girl. And I'm very proud to be associated with them as well. This is Sophie, Prince Edward's wife, the Countess of Essex. Her mother's half Irish, by the way, from Cork. And then we have Rodrigo, chef de keeper of the Irish team. I think he was the youngest gold medalist ever. This is Sylvia, that's the Queen Stud Farm Manager in Balmoral. I had people at Balmoral there last week, came to me because she told them. Yeah. And now, this is the Supreme Champion in Olympia last Christmas. And the lady, Sandra, she came to me at the Liverpool show, thanking me for having such lovely products, only for them she wouldn't have got so far with her horse. Now, with the white and the grey, the stable marks, you'll have no stable marks, but the beauty of it too, it's not slippery. It repels the stains. And if you wash with the Botanica wash, you'll have no grooming. You can groom them for hours without a speck of scurf. Without the Botanica wash, you can groom them for hours and you'll have the scurf. And I was joking with a groom and her owner about putting the groom on half pay, and the groom had a sense of humour and she agreed with everything. And then when I was finished, she says, I bet you can't drive a bloody truck. And I had to agree with her, but she has a sense of humour. Now this is the Dutch Royal, Dirk from the Dutch Royal Stables. You never know who's at your stand. They came to me in Aachen back in July. They had conditions where nothing was working. Got Botanica, it worked. Then they called me, can we open an account with you? This is them visiting my stand in Holland earlier in the year, and they put a big write-up on Facebook. Botanica worked. After trying so many things, they eventually found something that worked. I have 6 royal families I supply. We're only Western are selling herbal medicine to China. We sell by the ton. It's my biggest market. And quite frankly, only for the Chinese, I probably wouldn't be in business because their orders, it's like the backbone. It gave me cash to pay bills, in other words. Now that's my last order. That's 3.6 ton. There's 60 litre containers. And they're going into 30 ml tubes, which we'll see. And they charge 125 Chinese yuan. There are beauty parlours for dogs in China. You women would be jealous. And I'm serious. They're veterinarians, they're nurses, they're groomers, and they spend a fortune. They literally spend a fortune on them. And here is just some of the things. Anything with the skin. There's another one, the Fiscus withers, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's very, very hard to cure. My washing cream will do that. Anything with the skin is antifungal, antiseptic, antibacterial, antihistamine, anti-inflammatory. Now we supply around the world. A lot of the Irish, I don't know, I'm Irish myself, but can be very slow to pick up on things. But our sales worldwide, in Germany and everything, and the Germans, they don't jump in head first, trust me, And after that. Anyway, any questions, anybody?
Thank you very much for that talk, Sean. That's good. Testimonials got me taking a sample of his booth at a trade show. He's got a new anti-aging cream. Don't take any samples of it because if you gift it to someone, you end up on the line buying it all the time.
Somebody in the Emirates, they bought one last week and they paid £50 shipping.
I think it's really fit that you're going after the talk we heard from Peter, because it's like, this is a cream that's so good you wouldn't waste it on humans, kind of thing,
But everything in it we humans have been using for thousands of years.
I'm sorry, looking at both the mud rash that you had the pictures of 1 week, and then Biba, I guess the foal from 15 to 35 days, how often do you use the wash?
I'd wash and cream, like it at least twice a day.
Oh, so at least daily.
Or twice a day.
At least
If
twice,
you don't,
okay.
you see, it's constantly drawing the yellow and all that.
Right, I wasn't sure how long, so I had to ask.
No,
So,
twice a day. And
Thank
probably
you.
even 3 times it wouldn't harm either, but at least twice a day. The mud rash and stuff like that would be once a day, but the wound twice a day.
Any other questions? The rest of you guys?
We use it.
You use it, so they're found. Does it cost you not money? Not as much as Chinese.
We very kindly got a donation. We have a pony who had a head collar in this place called Jerry, and Jerry Craig from Dublin Zoo actually darted him first
Oh,
because
really?
he couldn't rescue
Oh, I
him. There he
remember
is
him.
a photo of your product. After you recovered, I'll show you a photograph beforehand.
Yeah.
So that's him with your products there. So we named him Jerry after Jerry Craig.
Oh, Jerry,
So that pony took us a long time to catch. She was in a big field in Dublin, and that's when we got a photo of him. The first one.
What's your personal opinion compared to some other stuff?
Yeah, it's great, and they don't mind. As you say, they don't object to
They love it.
to it. So it's non-sting and
The thing I forgot to put on there, but it was the fires in South America, but Chile or someplace a few years ago, a lot of horses were burnt to death. I sent some product over, and it's actually on Facebook. If you look on my Facebook, you'll see it. And we saved the lives of quite a few. And when I was in Dubai there in March,
it's a pony.
2 vets came to me and thanked me because they were from Chile, but they're now working in Dubai.
So it was actually down to the bone, the head collar. Yeah, it's actually it was into the bone. It was that bad.
Complete
yeah.
recovery.
Yeah, so your cream works.
No, it is. It's far better than I ever realised at the start. You know, it's good.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Do we have any other questions? John, you were back there and you got